Do you think? Because everyone has that concert they miss and they're pissed about, right? And one of
Yeah.
them was when you and Manson were touring, and like I talked to friends who went, and like, man, in the crowd, alone, I saw two midgets having sex. It was just a crazy atmosphere. From then to now,
I know those midgets.
from then to now, the dumb question is, which do you like better? Because that's impossible to answer. Do you kind of miss the? I won't call them the good old days, but some of that. I don't know. Is the word stupidity?
Yeah, you know what? I look back and what I can remember of those days, and it was the best times of my life, and it was fun, and it was exciting, and also in the era that you're referring to, we had just had the kind of surge of a big pop single that came out of nowhere with
Sure.
Closer, and is it fun to play packed arenas? Yeah, it is fun.
Absolutely.
And it was fun to see a sold-out tour every night, and you're playing with your best friend who's in the opening act, and they're blowing up at the same time, and we had Jim Rose Circus out with us for a long time, and they were our best friends, and it was like touring with a bunch of, it was insane. And it was fun, and it was great for that time of my life when I was, and, you start to realize, tours we've done since then, we did The Fragile, put out a difficult, deep record, and, the arena isn't sold out. Hey,
Sure.
that's not as much fun as the one that was sold out, Not saying the shows aren't as good, but I realize there's a core audience of people that are there for the right reason, the real fan that kind of has more than just a cursory knowledge of the band. And then there's the other 50% or 100 other percent that come from when there was MTV,
Sure.
a big single on MTV or on the radio. You catch a lot of other people that are much more fair weather fans, but I'm not real exclusive about. I don't want to be snobby about, hey, our music's not really for you, but you can come into the,
Yeah, well,
But
I don't know. If you
it's
didn't,
just time. You go through different phases. Like on this tour, being completely frank, we were surprised that the numbers weren't as big as we thought because it seemed like I'm written up a lot more than I have been in recent years. But then you realize, the economy just took a dump, and now across the board, everybody's numbers are down.
sure.
Well, that's kind of defeating because I think we've done the coolest show we've ever done, and there's not quite as many people as we'd hoped would be there. But hey, man, I can't. That's beyond what I can control. You hear that in the background right now?
Are those dogs?
It sounds like a pack of pit bulls killing somebody outside.
You must have press around
Mexico
you.
City, come on down. It's a great place.
You have a persona, and this is from fans. You have that persona of kind of untouchable, kind of too cool, and I'm not, I don't mean it as a compliment. I don't mean it as an insult. Does a guy like you, do you care about stuff like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Because if guys like us if guys like Josh and I are voting, of course you're in. We're huge, we're fanboy fans. So, do you care about that kind of stuff? The kind of stuff that honestly doesn't matter?
If I thought the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was legitimate and it
Sure.
had something to do with what fans think, then I would care more about it. It's exactly the way I feel about the Grammy Awards. We've won 2 Grammys and been nominated for a handful more than that. But I know the people voting on it, and I know the guys behind the Grammys, and they're completely 100% full of shit. And they're the kind of industry people that I don't like and shouldn't be in the record business. Why is Alicia Keys nominated for every award? Who does anybody like Alicia Keys? Anybody?
All right,
I don't.
Conversely, why is Madonna in the Rock and Roll Hall
Sure.
of Fame?
Yeah,
Rock
but
and roll.
Madonna, you could argue, culturally has been significant enough that, she at least cut her own cloth. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan, but I understand iconically. But then there's other artists that kind of seem like, Clive Davis creation, fabrication, that are going to, I'm getting off on a tough tangent, but the bottom line is, I would wipe my ass with those Grammys. I don't care about them. They mean nothing to me. The Grammys have proven we won for Best Metal Performance for Happiness in Slavery. Honestly, that's sitting on wherever the Grammy is sitting in a box somewhere.
Sure.
Best Metal Performance. Wow. You guys kind of got it wrong on that one. Then there are things that I think we should be recognized for, from the packaging of recent records we've done to instrumental works we've done. Ignored.
Sure.
I'm not saying it so much from sour grapes. I just think the whole thing of being rewarded by industry incestuous scumbags, the same people that run record labels, what does that matter to me?
Okay, you're probably, as far as rock bands go and musicians, are giving us some of the most candid answers we've ever had. So,
Yeah.
and I might be stepping over the line here, but since you seem to be so candid, right now in rock, who's the biggest sham? Like, who's propped up as a great band that shouldn't be? That's a dick question, I know, but,
It's it's not like me not to have a quick answer to something like that, but to me,
Sorry.
I'm 43 years old now.
Sure.
And I try to stay, and I keep pretty well abreast of what's going on, certainly in a more indie world than I do super mainstream at the moment. But there are certain genres of music that pop up, or, like the whole kind of, whatever Blink-182 started of the pop-punk stuff. None of that resonated with me on any level. Like, there's stuff I don't like that I can understand why people like, because, okay, that's for what it is, it's good. It's not what I like, but I understand why people like it. And there's other things that pop up that I don't understand why anybody would like that. And then I think, if I was in one of these bands that all sound the same, would I think that I'm doing something different, or am I just aiming to sound the same as the other ones?
I think your answer would be you have, because of the way the system's set up, a bunch of people around you making you think you are different.
Well, it leads you to then saying, why do people like, why are those kids in those bands? To be famous? To be on MTV? To wear funny clothes? To fuck young starlet? Or are they out to change the world or do something different? Are they doing it to make art? Or they just want to get laid or be popular in high school?
When you mentioned,
I know my answer to that question, and that's what I judge them against.
Okay.
And I think my answer is more legitimate than theirs. That's just me. That's why I live the life that I live.
well, when I thought about when you mentioned like independent music and bands like that, it made me think of like LP, El Producto, that I've listened to before, and like Saul Williams, and how you're working with guys like that, helping produce stuff with them, and they do some production themselves. I mean, is that
Sure.
the direction do you enjoy, or how were you drawn to them?
Well, with Saul, for example, I happened to catch a video for a list of demands, some random occurrence of actually seeing a video, and it kind of jumped out of the television set as something I hadn't heard before. Here's an angry black guy speaking intelligently about something against a rock music that sounds more raw than anything I've done. What is this? And I went out and got his record, and I was like blown away, and I contacted him and said, would you want to do some shows with us? And he said, yeah. We hit it off as friends, and it's not like I was looking to spend a year of my life working on someone else's record, but it was like I didn't have a choice. It's like someone needs to make this record, and we both had similar loves and hates in terms of music we liked, and so let's make something that crosses genres and makes a record that would satisfy us, and I think we did that.
Hey,
I wish more people would have heard it, but I can't make people go out and listen.
Can't make them listen,
so.
absolutely. Speaking of videos that not enough people saw, your video with Bowie is probably the coolest video I've ever seen. I'm afraid of Americans.
Back in that day.
In my opinion, that's one of the coolest videos I've ever seen.
That was fun to do. What I remember of it, wasn't in the best shape.
Was that still part of that time?
Yeah, that was in that time.
Well, Trent, where most artists seem to just exist and they just go with the flow. 9 Inch Nails, the thing that I love about 9 Inch Nails is you just seem to evolve. Like, what's the next evolution? What's the next step? What's the future for 9 Inch Nails?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, it's right now we're finishing this tour up, and there's a number of projects that have lined up, most of which are not even music necessarily, but involve 9 Inch Nails. So I'm kind of weighing out and basing it on the same thing I have in the past, which is just what feels the most exciting to me to work on and start getting inspired by. And in recent years, I don't know if this is maturity maybe, or maybe just old age kicking in, but I've felt more comfortable about, less about beating myself up on everything I do. So it's allowed me to make more music quicker, and just the act of creating has been less of me fighting me. And it's made it fun again, so I really find myself in a place where, really for the first time ever, I'm having the most fun on the creative portion of it. Frankly, the idea of a 3-year tour, I'm not, I've done it, and I've done it, and I've done it, and I've done it again. And I may do it again, but I'm not thrilled about the idea of living out of suitcases as much as I would have been 15 years ago.
We ask a lot of bands and a lot of, everyone, basically anyone cool that we get to talk to, we ask that question, and most of the time, it's a bull answer. Hearing I don't know right away is actually refreshing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, Trent, thanks for your time today, man, and we really look forward to this area does. People will be coming in for miles. They want to see the new show. They want to see the whole experience, and I think we're all pretty pumped about you coming to our area, man.
We're going to sell it out for you, man.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Have fun in Mexico City. Watch out for the pit bulls.
Yeah, take care.
All right,
bye.